Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us again on Short and Sweet. How is everyone?
Yeah.
You're not going to answer, but you feel like you have to ask, don't you? How you feeling, Ben?
Yeah, very sunburnt actually, mate. How are you doing? Had a busy day?
I'm all right. Yeah, I've been on the golf course all day, and I'm not sunburnt, which has to be an absolute first.
You're still on
so I'm
on the golf course by the looks of it.
It was hard to drag myself away, if I'm honest. Okay. Right, guys, this evening, following on from a session we did a couple of weeks ago with a gentleman called the A, B, I, and the D, Abid Patel, on achieving inbox zero, we thought we'd come back to Gmail and inboxing and all those kind of things tonight and just go through some of the advanced features in a little bit more detail. So as Alfonso's already said in the chat, make sure you're all strapped in and on board the learning bus. And our driver, Ben's going to get us started. Over to you, Ben.
Thanks, Darren. So welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining us here again today on Short and Sweet. So we're going to have a look for a few things today. We're going to sort of tag team it as we usually do. I'm going to run through a few things, and then Darren goes through some of the others. So the first thing I want to take you through today is looking at the new settings sort of layout, the quick settings, as it were, in Gmail, which is a relatively new feature, something that's come recently, but I'd just like to show you how to navigate that a little bit better. So As you can see, following Abid's session, I'm at inbox 0, which is great, and I hope you guys are as well. But we'll get straight on to looking at these new settings. So in the old Gmail, you go to your settings up here, and it will take you straight into your settings page. But now when you click on this settings icon, you get a quick settings view. So this is all the settings that Gmail thinks you're going to use the most. So these are the things you probably go to and change most frequently. And rather than going into the settings completely, it's all now sort of built in within your Gmail window you see open. So first thing we've got is the density. So that's sort of how your emails will appear. Now, I've realised I've stabbed myself in the foot here with no emails. I can't really show you the difference between them. But in effect, I've got default selected, which is selected by default, obviously. But in effect, what that is, it shows the emails plus any attachments that are attached to it. It gives you a little preview, whether that's a Google Docs, Google Sheets, or Slides, and gives you a preview to the title of the document. Now, if you didn't want to see that, you want it to look a little bit more tidy, you only want it to show the the emails or the subject lines, you can go to comfortable or compact. Now, the only difference between comfortable and compact is how big your email lines appear. So it's really hard to show on this account, so I might have to drop into another one for just a second.
Drop into a folder, Ben.
I'll drop into a folder, yeah. Good idea, Darren, actually. I'll do that. I'll go into a G Suite folder here. There you go. So as you can see at the moment, it's on default, and I have a few attachments appearing here. So it shows me this is a video clip with Geg UK nice and slow. And it's also got a Google Doc here with a transcript of the chat as well. If I went to comfortable here, you can see it updates in live time. It happens straight away. It gets rid of those attachments underneath. But if I go to compact here, it makes all those boxes that bit smaller. So you can get more on your screen if you want to. Now, my personal favourite, I really like having default on. It's probably really boring, but I'd like to see what you guys like on your inboxes. But I like to have them a little bit more spaced out so I can read them a bit better and see what's attached, if anything, when someone sends me an email. So that's the first thing in there. Next thing, you've got themes. So on this account, this is my training domain, so I haven't really played about this too much. But you've got a standard theme here. You can go to view all, and you can pick your theme for the background of your inbox. So you can pick some photos here if you wanted to. You could decide if you want to go to Lake Tahoe here, or maybe one of those images doesn't take your fancy and you want to have a look through a few more. You can do that here as well. So loads of different ones you can choose from here. Now I might go with let's go with that Lake Tahoe. Actually, I quite like that. We'll just click select on there, and you'll see now the back of my inbox now changes. And I can change this as often as I want to. And this might be good for distinguishing between accounts maybe, or just if you like a pretty background behind your emails, it's completely fine. So what you might want to be careful of if you're doing this is just your label colors on the side here. If you distinguish your labels via color, beware of the background you pick. That might drop out some of those colors. You can go back and change those at any point. But I might decide I really like this Lake Tahoe and just click save. Now, I can go back and I can change this at any time now. You see a few more of these appear, so I can just change them very quickly by clicking on them there. And you can see just how quickly that changes in the background of my Gmail. So something nice you guys might want to do. You know, it's personal preference, but it's something I like to do actually on my other accounts, just to distinguish between. Now, next bit down is inbox type. Now, this sort of covers one of my next points, actually talking about multiple inboxes, but we'll do that in just a minute. But currently, I've got the default inbox type selected. As I say, this is a training domain, so it's all sort of standard at the moment. But you've got different ways you can distinguish your inbox, and loads of people use it in different ways. So what you could do is you could have it to show important first. So show all of your important emails at the top, and they're normally ones that, that are marked as important. Now, I've got my important markers off, so it's not going to show me any there. But if you mark your emails as important, they will all appear if you click this important first right at the top of your inbox. Okay. Equally, if you want to display your unread emails first, you can drop that in there as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make one of these unread for just a minute, and go to inbox again. I'll go to unread first, and that will pop right to the top. Even though that was sent a little while ago, that will appear right at the top. So that's another thing you can do. You've got starred emails first. So it shows all the starred emails. Again, I don't think I've got any in this account or in that folder, sorry. If I star this Google notifications here, put starred first. Let me just refresh it. Typical, this when you're doing a demo, isn't it? It's not going to work the way you want it to. But in effect, that should show you the starred emails first. In this instance, it's not going to do it for me. But that should work in that way. We'll try and come back to that a little bit later on once it starts working. And this is something that I know you use actually, Darren, isn't it? Priority inbox. Or am I wrong?
Yeah.
I think someone else does. I think it's you.
No, I do. Yeah. I've got several accounts. I use it on some of them and not all of them.
Yeah. So this is very much up to personal preference for this. So priority inbox, you've got a lot of customization with this actually. So I'll just drop into the customized menu here just to show you the different things you can actually do. So if you go into the customize option there, you've got your priority inbox at the top, and you can decide which inbox sections you want where and how it's organized. So I might want to have the important and unread at the top here, and it can tell you how many items I want to show at a time. Hide the section when it's empty if you want to, so it would only appear when there's unread emails, or you can remove the section completely. Alternatively, you can add some other things in here, so you can go in and add certain folders or labels if you want to. So I might decide I want GEG UK. All the GEG UK emails will appear third in the list. So this will make a little bit more sense when I show you in just a second in live time. But you can, in effect, what it is here is you can just customize and decide how you want your inbox to look. What things do you want to see first? Do you want to see all your important unread emails first? Probably. You can then see the starred emails next, and then underneath will be all the GEG UK emails, and then everything else. So I'm just going to show you how that looks in my main inbox. So now I'm in the main inbox. It shows me all my important unread emails here. So I've got no unread. Well, it says I've read all the messages in my inbox, all my starred messages. So I haven't currently got any starred. But then it shows me all my GEG UK emails. So I can see some things here from Mr. Patel himself, and then everything else will appear underneath. So you can customize this, have it however you want it. If you want to have different folders there, if you want to remove your starred, for example, you don't want to have that on there. Really simple to do by going over to your settings menu here, go into this customize button underneath priority inbox, and you can just decide to, if you don't want that starred on there, just remove the section. And you can add your own section of whatever you want to put in there. So it's a really great way to organize your inbox and show the things you want to see when you want to see them. So I know a lot of people that use that, and a lot of people find it really useful. Personally, I don't. I just go with the default because I'm boring. But I know some other people use that. So it's a great feature on there to use. And the next one down is multiple inboxes, which is another quite cool one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the multiple inboxes there. And straight away, it shows me starred, drafts, and inbox at the moment. Okay, so this is just in a similar way to priority inbox. But again, you can customize this, and you can just decide which sections you want to be where. So again, you can go to add certain labels here, or add certain sent, starred emails, drafts emails, whatever you want to put in there. So you can really customize this to be however you want it to be in your inbox. There's no right or wrong answer here, and that's what we love about Gmail. It's very personal to you. Do whatever what makes it easy for you. You've got loads of different options in here to go through. Sorry. Go for it. There you go. Yeah, sorry, my screen disappeared. So you've got the options here of where you want your multiple inbox to be. So whether you want it to be above the normal inbox, to the right of the inbox. So you can split your email so it's sort of two panes if you want to. So I could decide I'm going to put it on the right just to show you what it looks like. You've got the option of putting important markers on, overriding filters. All these options to use. But I personally don't really use multiple inboxes, so I can't necessarily show you how I use it for myself. But now you can see I've got the multiple inbox on the side, my normal emails on the left. So it sort of splits your email up into separate parts. You can keep an eye on more things at once. So I'll be honest, this is something that Darren was showing me a little bit earlier on. And do you know what? I think I'm going to go away and play with this on my own school account. I think it's going to be really useful to have this. Certain like my school hire things or my facilities related icons on the right hand side of the screen and everything else on the left hand side of the screen. So it's something I've learned recently and definitely going to put into practice when I get back to doing schoolwork for sure. So I have to thank Darren for that one. That's not my doing on that. So the next one down is you've got your reading pane here. It says not available, multiple inboxes turned on. So I'm just going to drop back onto default. But reading pane just allows you to see parts of your email, things that are attached to it. So I'm just going to turn on that reading pane just to show you what it looks like again in live time. Go into G Suite just to show you. I think I've still got multiple inboxes turned on, haven't I? Go to the right of the inbox there on the reading pane. So if I click on that means I click on the email on the left-hand side and I can read it on the right-hand side. So anything that I've got up, I can read in an open pane on the right-hand side, or you can read it underneath as well if you want to. You can change it around any way you want. But I put it on I'm going to put it on the right for the purpose of this. But in effect, what it allows you to do is keep all your emails open on the left-hand side. You can still see all of your inbox while still reading your emails coming through on the right-hand side here. So great if you've got a busy inbox, you want to see things coming in live time, or you're working on certain things, or you've got chat open on the left-hand side and you're reading an email, chatting to someone about something. There's some great possibilities with it. Providing it's using it, in a way that works for you. So I think I'm going to drop over to Darren now for the next bit. Before I start rabbling, I feel myself starting to rabble now. So I'll hand over to Darren before you all get bored.
Lovely. Cheers, Ben. I'm just going to take over the stream. Evening, everyone. Just to follow on from what Ben's been saying, one of the things we looked at when Abby was with us before was the option to go into your settings and into your main settings and be able to toggle between, just down the bottom here, just above where your picture appears, you've got the option for icons and text.
Oh, yeah.
So really useful. If you're not very au fait with the icons, you can turn those to text instead. So I'm going to come back out and show you the difference again, because it was something we went through quite quickly. If I click on an email here, you can see all of the menu appears at the top here just as icons. And if I hover over them, I get the words. Okay. However, if I come off of that and I go back to my settings and I just go into all settings, scroll down in general, just above where our picture is, and change that to text, and then click Save Changes down the bottom here. What it's done this time is, if I click on those, you can see those now automatically are there as words. So I don't have to kind of hover over and then click. I can just go straight to them and click immediately. It's only a tiny little thing, and it is purely personal preference. But I've got to try and out both, one on one account, one on the other, and just seeing which I prefer. Because that was something that I hadn't really bothered about until Abid mentioned it last time. Okay. The other thing I wanted to show you in the standard settings as well, again in all settings, is the option that we've got down here of dynamic email. Now I've got it turned on. It's not always turned on by default. It does depend on your domain, but it's a really useful tool. And basically what dynamic email does is it means that if somebody tags you in a post, in a comment in a Google document, you can respond to that comment in your emails without having to go and join the document. So I'm just going to demonstrate that by going to this slideshow that I've got set up, my favorite buses around the world. And what I'd like Ben to contribute to this. So Ben, which account would you like me to send this to?
It's going my training with BM.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to tag Ben in this, and I'm going to say, please add some of your favorites. Is that okay? Friday is the deadline, okay? Because obviously he's a busy boy and he's got lots of buses. I'm going to assign it to him, and that's going to appear. It's going to remind me that I need to make sure he's got editing rights with us, okay? And I'm just going to click comment and okay, and that's going to send that to Ben. And I've already got here an update you can see there where Gmail has now already got this option that it's telling us when things are shared with us, and it's starting to tell us whether we need to allow particular permissions and things like that. So Ben's got, hopefully that email should arrive any time now, Ben.
Yeah.
If we pop your screen back on.
Yeah, I'm just opening up that account now.
Yeah. It should come through any second. I've got a 30-second undo send on mine, so sometimes it does take a little bit longer to come through. It should be there any time now.
Typical. It's not going to work now, is it?
Of course it is.
It's like demo time.
What will happen is, a bit like buses, nothing will happen, and then two will come along at once.
Yeah, that's it.
And it still hasn't come through, has it?
No, not yet. It's trying to think. You sent it from your.
It's from the short and sweet, yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't go into any filter or anything.
Yeah, shouldn't do. Hopefully it will come round.
In the meantime, we'll have to find something to fill the space, some jokes or something.
Not at all. It's very easy, actually. So, while we're waiting for that to happen, one of the other things, the reason I like this dynamic email is because quite often people will tag you in a comment in a piece of work, and it's literally just, please update, or is this accurate, or does this need updating? And I find it really frustrating to have to go and then open the document because I know it's been done, or, you know, have you done this? And I know I've done it. So I can just respond directly within my email, which makes life a lot easier, a lot smoother. And we might come back to that later on if it's going to take a while to come through.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. It's fine.
We'll come back to that. Right, okay. So, do you want to, well, while you're on screen then, Ben, do you want to look at inserting images into signatures?
Yeah, let's do it. So I'm just going to go back into the other account for just a second there.
Yep.
Okay, so so I'm going to show you how to insert images and GIFs into your email signature. So this is something that's become really popular, especially during lockdown, with us all being sort of badgeaholics, all of us collecting all of our EdTech badges from all over the place. It's been a little bit of a craze on Twitter about it, trying to who can get them all sort of thing. So if you earn a badge, show it off, is my opinion. You know, you've worked hard for that. And I'm going to show you how to insert that into your Gmail signature now. So first thing you're going to want to do is go to your settings and go to see all settings here. So that'll open up the original settings page that we're all used to seeing. So it automatically loads you into general, which is where you want to be. And you just want to scroll down to find your signatures down here. So at the moment, I've got one set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new one to show you what it's going to look like in terms of adding things in. So I'm just going to click Create New here. Give it a name. So I'm going to give this title. Let's go with Short and Sweet. And click Create. I like it. I wonder who came up with that. So. Catchy. Yeah, I like it, definitely. So I've now got a signature here that's now blank. So I may want to fill this in with anything here. So I'm just gonna put in short and sweet. With how's it on Twitter? Is it short and sweet with Ben Moore and Darren, or Darren and Ben? I can't remember how it is.
Ben Moore and Darren White.
Over that.
We'll put you first. Youngest first, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, Darren White there. Okay, so I've now got my text in. You can put as much text as you want in here, guys, and change all the colour as usual with all your text formatting options. Any way you want. So I'm just going to put ours as blue because we love a good blue. Let's go with that. Now you'll notice you have the option here to insert image. Now this is where you can add in your badges or your GIFs. So I'm going to show you how to do both. So for me now, I'm just going to click Insert Image. And you can do this from Google Drive. You can upload from your computer or from web address if that's just an image. I'm just going to go with from the computer for the time being. And I'm going to add in our short and sweet logo. So I'll select the file and click open. So what that'll do, I think this is probably not going to show very well, it's got a white background, but what we'll do is scroll down. It will appear really large to start with, and this is something I personally don't like. The box is really small to see your signature, so it's definitely something I want to see Gmail improve on. But at the moment it's huge, and we want to make that a bit smaller. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click on this image anywhere, and you'll see this box appear at the bottom. So currently it's at original size. So you can have it as small, which will drop it down underneath your email like this, medium, or you can go with large, or you can put it back to original if you want. So I normally go with medium, and this logo hasn't really got the best in there because it's got a transparent background in this one. So I'm going to add in another image here. I'm just going to put in the Google Trainer one, just to show you how that looks. So go to here for a minute and put the Google Trainer logo in. So what you can actually do is you can have more than one next to each other if you want. So you can actually put in more than one image if you want to. I tend to put on my actual Gmail signature, which I'll show you in a minute, has 2 GIFs side by side. So you can do 2 images or 2 GIFs or as many images as you want. You know, at one point, I think both of us, Darren, had sort of 8 or 9 badges on here, didn't we, before we discovered the GIF creation? Yeah. Both had 8 or 9 badges. Yeah. It started to look a little bit crowded, wasn't it, at the bottom of the email in the end?
It was getting a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, so you know you can put in images just like this, and as soon as you're ready, you can just go down and click Save Changes like you normally would. So I'll just go back into that and show you the GIFs section now, which I've already got one of those set up. So this is on my main signatures. This is what I'd send out to people normally. So I've got all my name, all my titles, etc. And I've got a GIF that I created of all my badges that I've earned during lockdown. And I've also got a Google Trainer GIF. They're 2 separate GIFs just added in next to each other in exactly the same way. So what I do is I'd make my GIF, and I use WeVideo for my GIF over here. So I've actually got a video of that on YouTube if any of you want to check it out. But I created my GIF on here, and what I did is insert it in exactly the same way. So I inserted image. Although a GIF technically, some people would argue, might be a video, it still counts as an image in terms of this. So you still go to the same menu, search your computer for the GIF. So mine's there. Open it up in the same way, and then adjust the size as normal as well when that loads up. I'll drop that down to a medium or even a small actually. And you'll see that appears on the right hand side just there. And you can easily drag and drop these if you want to as well. Move them around if you've put more than one in. And that's not immediately clear to start with that you can move them around, but you can just by dragging and dropping them. And it's a really nice way to tidy up your email, make it look really smart, you know. And I've got this set up on my personal Gmail, my work Gmail, and all that sort of cool stuff as well. So it's really versatile. It makes it look really sleek. I find. I think it makes it look really professional having a GIF or an image on there, especially if you've earned something during lockdown. Definitely show it off. It's definitely worth doing. So those are the 2 ways to add in. And just whilst I'm on that point there, actually, because we're going to talk about multiple signatures in just a second. But actually, we'll move on to it now because it sort of ties in. But I've got 2 signatures here at the moment, so I can actually choose which one I want to use when sending an email. And I can do that when I send an email, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. What you can also do down here, you'll see you've got signature details. And it asks you for new emails, you may want to use your main signature. But on replying emails, you might want to use your short and sweet one, or your main signature, or no signature at all. So this is another sort of hidden sort of setting in here, which I only found in my work account recently. I found that my on forward or reply use had no signature on there. So I made sure I turned that on to have my signature on there. I thought if I've earned these, I want to show it off. I want to have my signature on there. So that's off as default. So make sure to turn that on if it isn't already. And you've also got the option here to insert signature before the quoted text, which I always leave off personally. I don't think it's really much use, but you can play about with that if you want to as well. Now, I hear you ask, what is the point of having more than one signature? Darren, do you have more than one signature on your school account?
Actually, no, I don't. But then I have one role, whereas you have 2. So
right, yeah, exactly. So For the schools we work for, as Darren said there, he's got one role. He's a teacher, EdTech leader. So he's in effect, he only needs one signature. Whereas for me, because I work as a teacher and also as a lettings and health and safety coordinator, I technically have two job roles. So this might be really useful to distinguish between the two. So I may want to have one on here for my main. I could label this as teaching, for example. I may want another one underneath, which is for my facilities or lettings thing. So I could have two signatures. I can decide which one I want to apply to each email. So for the argument's sake on here, we're going to go short and sweet as an example. So I might want to send an email from my personal account for me, send an email to Darren, or I might want to send, if I switch to my other role, being on short and sweet, I might want to send an email and use that signature. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to do that just now. So I've got two signatures inside my settings, which is really important. And I'm going to go to compose an email. So at the moment, it preloads with my standard email, standard signature. So this loads up, this is what I've set in my settings there. For the new emails, I want my main signature to appear. So I'm going to send you an email, Darren, if that's all right. So
go for it.
It's DYG. Yeah, there you go. So I'm going to put an email there, and I'm going to send you an email as if I was me. So this is my EdTech role. So I'm just going to say, put here, GEG UK training. Hi, Darren. Can we catch up about this training, for example? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send that from my I've put that wrong there, haven't I? Catch up about this training. There you go. It's a bit better for grammar. So I'm going to send this from my personal. This is me talking in my EdTech role. So I'm going to send this to Darren now from this role. Now, I may now want to send another email to another colleague, but it's about the short and sweet. So I may want to go in here. I'm going to put in my email address and put in short and sweet. Oh, put an and in there. And what I can do is, you see this little pencil icon on the bottom of your email here, you can go insert signature. And what you can do is you can actually manage your signature from here, turn it off completely, or swap between any that you've already got pre-made. So I'm going to go to short and sweet here. And you'll see here now how that signature changes over. So if you've got more than one job role in your school, you may want to swap that over. So if you're, for me, as an example, I may want to send an email to the head teacher about, or head of year about a particular issue in my lesson, or praise for students that have done so well. Equally, I may want to send an email to my head of facilities about something related to the building. So I can change my signatures over so it shows I'm in my facilities role or my teaching role very easily by just going to this pencil and swapping over in a matter of a click. It just keeps your roles distinguished, and it always keeps your signature nice and clean and tidy. You don't want to have cram all of your job roles in like I have here because it looks a bit messy. Or you don't want to have too much on there for people to look at. So that's a great way to keep it nice and tidy, and something I use every day, really. It saves having to swap accounts to do everything. You can send it all from one account rather than logging into 2 or 3 accounts to send different emails for different job roles. So definitely been a gem for me, and I know that one of my colleagues does exactly the same. He uses 2 signatures for his work as well, because he has 2 jobs, 2 roles in the school as well. So one of my favourite things in Gmail is having multiple signatures and be able to change them, just as simple as that. So, hopefully some of you guys will find that really useful as well. So I'm going to hop back. I'll pass the baton back to you, Darren, now, and you're going to take through Delegated Access, I believe, which is really cool. And you actually taught me this. Taught me this probably about 6 or 7 months ago now, didn't you? About some school accounts. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
So I'm just going to, I'm jumping over onto my school account. Yeah. Because to have delegated access set up on your accounts, your admin needs to make sure that all of the MX records and everything else are all set up and complete. And the reason you might want delegated access is because if you've got, for example, something like a reception at email address, and you've got people job sharing, one of the things that you might want to be able to do from a data protection point of view, but also from a accountability point of view, is to be able to see who sent different emails. And if everyone's logging in using the same email, you've got no record of who it was that sent that email, or who forwarded it, or who deleted it, or who's dealing with it. So that becomes quite difficult in terms of managing. Equally, if you are, a teacher in the school and you get an email from reception that says, so there's a visitor here for you, you don't always know who's sent that, because it's just come from reception and you don't actually know which person you're talking to. And if people are swapping jobs, by the time you go down to reception, actually there might have been a changeover. There's a completely different person sitting on the reception desk and has no idea what you're talking about. So knowing who sent it is really important. And the way you can do that without everybody all sharing a login is to go back into your settings again through all settings. And I've got this set up on my school account. And if you come to accounts, which is the 4th tab along, and scroll down, you will see the option to grant access to your account, which allows others to read and send mail on your behalf. Okay, so you can add another account to that really easily by just putting in the email address, clicking next step, and it basically sends them a confirmation to accept. And then what happens is, and I'm just going to click over here, you'll notice here I've got our main office email account showing up, and you'll see, if I just scroll over, here we go, that it says delegated. So that's delegated access. So if I send an email from using that email address, what will happen is it will say that it's come from MTA main office at mortonsacademy.org, but it will say in brackets after it to in the recipient's email sent by, and will actually have my own email address on it as well. So I will know who has sent me that email. So particularly, like I say, where you've got job shares, really, really useful to know who you're dealing with. But also, if you need to track something later on, really useful as well in terms of knowing exactly who dealt with a specific email, or who it was that was, forwarding on something, or who's actually dealing with something. So you can actually as well, once you've done that, then start to assign tasks. And we'll come back in a little while to collaborative inboxes and things like that. But Ben, we're coming back over to you now, aren't we?
That's right, yeah. And I just want to show people as well. So delegated access, I'll just drop my screen back on. I'm going to go on to my school account here as well. So I've actually got some delegated emails set up as well. So I've actually, if I click on my email up here, I've got all these accounts that are delegated. So you'll see it says delegated on here. So I've got my site support, my trust level email, all delegated access. So I can actually see all their mail without logging into the account thereafter. So I just wanted to show people, once you delegate access, you can access it all from that one account as well. So it's a nice, easy way to flick between the mail as well, isn't it? I don't know if you've seen that, Darren, at all. So I just thought it's worth showing people, that if I want to go into my academy, a different email, I don't have to log into the account to see the emails. With that delegated access, I log straight in. It opens up in a new window, so I can actually have more than one email account open at the same time. And I can, I can do that for as many accounts as I want access to, So it's a great way to flick between the two, as many accounts you've got without having to go in and out. So you can see that one's a bit busy. That's not inbox zero for any of those people out there. So apologies for that. But that's just one of the things I wanted to show you. And also just to show as well my, the different email signatures that I've got on here. I've got this main signature for my teaching role. I've also got the facilities one on here, and you can see it just drops down and changes just like that. I just wanted to show people how, the difference between the two and how easy it is to do that. So yeah, that's that. And I just wanted to show everyone. Right, so is it templates now, is it, Darren? I've sort of lost track of where I am now.
Yeah, templates.
So templates is, for me, it's been a lifesaver. I think it's the easiest way to say it, especially during lockdown. I don't know about you, Darren, but I seem to find myself sending quite a few of the same emails to people. People asking me where the work is, even though I sent them an email and it's on Google Classroom telling them where the work is. But you always get, some people still emailing you, asking you. So you sort of type out the same thing every time. Have you looked at Google Classroom, for example? And I always come back saying no. So for us as teachers and educators, time's really precious. We don't get enough of it to do the job we need to do. So templates is a great way to save yourself a load of time, save your fingers, save having to type out the same thing over and over. And what I might do is I might go back to my school account, because I think I might have one set up already, just to show you. But really simply, what it is you type out an email and you save that, and within a few clicks you can then open it up to do again. So what I might do is I might type out here, just an example, please check Google Classroom for, please check the classwork page on Google Classroom for the work. Just an example. Now you can have anything you want on here. It might be explaining, you might be sending emails to more than one group about something. You might be explaining what this week's work is. Might be explaining that you haven't received their homework. Might be, it could be anything like that. So what you need to do is you just need to type out your message in your body of text here. You can put a subject in there as well if you want. So I'm just going to put locating the work. All right, and a little trick here that I've found, actually, before you set this as a template, go to your pencil and turn off your signature. Now, this will make sense in just a minute. It will look really plain, but it's really important to turn off your signature before saving this as a template. And I'm going to show you both ways and show you why I say to turn it off. So I've now got my subject and the main body of text, which I want to use. And what I'm going to do is go to my traffic lights down here and go to templates. And what that'll do is it will load up all my existing templates. You can see I use quite a lot on here. And if you haven't got a lot on here, you can go to Save Drafted Template. Scroll down and Save as New Templates. It's almost like pops out two boxes here. So I'm going to save as a new template and give it a name. So I'm just going to say Locating the Work, as that's the subject of my email. Now I click Save on that. I can get rid of this draft over here, get rid of that. Compose New. Go to my traffic lights and templates. And you'll see now it says Insert Template, and it will give me that Locating the Work. Now I can click on that, and it will pull it straight through. And you notice I have my signature already at the bottom here. That's because earlier on we set up to have our email appear on every new email. We want our main signature to appear. And on any reply emails, we want our signature to appear. So if you were to set this as a template now, I'm just going to save this as another template and just show you what the difference is. Save template, save as new. I'm just going to go Locating the Work 1 and click Save. And I'll now go to insert that template in a new email. Go to Templates again, Locating the Work 1. So what you'll notice now, it looks normal here, but I'll scroll down and I'll have that signature below again. I've got the kind regards and my signature again. So you can see I've got two signatures in there because I didn't turn it off when I went to save the template. So that's why I say turn off the template when you go to, turn off the signature when you go to save this, because I send so many, just an example, I'll show you one of the ones I use with my students. It's a live demo here. I'll show you something I've used with them exactly. So we did Student of the Week. So what I do is I create myself a little template. And what I do there is I just have this already pre-filled, and I put the student's name inside this box. So every week I'd go through and update that and put the student's name inside the box. So it's just a really quick way of sending a bulk email that you're going to send to all of your classes and just change individual bits of that email. So say this one's a Student of the Week, and we did this through lockdown to try and motivate our students to do things. So every class would have a Student of the Week. And this is a really easy way to go through and add that in, really quickly and save your fingers, because it takes so long to do this stuff during lockdown and to type out. Whereas in the class, would verbally say to students, "Well done, you did so well today." We can't do that now. We're having to give reply to every student individually, and especially if they're asking the same question. Templates has saved me a huge amount of time across the last few weeks, and I'm sure you use them as well, Darren. But they've definitely been powerful for me on a daily basis, and it's definitely something that I'll be using after lockdown for sure.
Definitely. And as Daniel said as well in the chat, if you combine your templates with filters as well, It's completely next level. So if you know that you've got specific templates to respond to specific email addresses or specific words or specific terms, you can have it set up so that they automate the filter.
It's not something I've thought about before, but actually that makes a lot of sense actually. So thank you, Daniel, for pointing that out. Actually, I'm definitely gonna give that a go. You know, we can't know everything, so I'm glad you pointed it out. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and really easy to do because it's just within that filter settings as well. If I just bring my screen back on,
include the word,
so for example, I've got an email here from you, Ben. If I click on that, I come over to more, oh, it's not going to let me actually. That's a bit odd. Oh, because I've already labelled it. There we go. I've got it labelled. Bear with me a second. It won't let me set up a filter, so I'll have to go back in the other way. Do it this way. Go into my filters.
Do it the old-fashioned way, Darren.
Do it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to create a new filter, which is anything from Ben. I'm just going to create the filter down the bottom here. But then, as you can see here, I've got the option. I can choose a label for it. So I could have a new label like short and sweet.
Yeah.
But then I could also, if I've got one set up, and I actually haven't at the moment in this account, but if I had a template set up, then I would be able to select that and choose the template that I want to use to respond to it as well in terms of responding. So really, really useful from that perspective as well.
I'm definitely going to give that a go actually. So yeah, really, thank you very much for pointing that out.
That's it. Right, back to me then. We're going to have a look at a couple of bits and pieces that are kind of new extras and then something that's outside of Gmail but is quite useful. First thing I want to bear in mind is obviously looking at my screen here, we've now got chat and Meet available in Gmail just directly in here. Now, personally, and we said this on the Inbox Zero episode, I hate having it down here because it gets in the way of my folders. Yeah. So if you haven't remembered how to do that, just go to your settings, come to Chat and Meet, and click right side of Inbox, and save your changes, and it will send it over to the right-hand side. Okay, that then gives you a lot more room for your folders down the side here, and your Chat and your Meet is over here. Now, first thing I want to show you with Meet is something to bear in mind. When you open a Meet from Gmail, what happens is it opens in a completely new window automatically. So if you do that from any other part of Meet, whether you go to meet.google.com, whether you go to the app picker and you launch a Meet, whether you launch it from within Google Classroom, it doesn't open in a new window. But with the Gmail option, it does. Okay? So that's something worth bearing in mind. I'm not going to go in and open the Meet, but just to make the point that it does open in a new window. And if you're lucky, you will have noticed as well, if you've got the Gmail app now, that the Meet is also integrated within the Gmail app at the bottom of the screen on your phone as well. So really useful from that perspective. So that's the Meet part of things. But I also wanted to have a quick look at Chat, because I think Chat's one of those things that's come along, replaced Hangouts, and maybe people aren't 100% sure of it. So I'm just going to click on Chat here, and you can see that I haven't got any chats and I haven't got any rooms set up. So what I'm actually going to do is go into Chat itself. Okay, and this is the first time I've used Chat in this account, so it just takes me through, and I'm not too worried about setting those things up. But there's a couple of things to bear in mind. Firstly, you can chat with anyone you like. So if I wanted to start a chat with Ben, I can just search and start a chat straight away. I can download the Chat app if I want to, but I don't want to at the minute. And I can just start a chat here and get on with things. And directly from within Chat, I can add emojis, I can upload any documents, I can add things from file, and I can also start a Meet. Okay, I'm just going to send that for the moment. Okay, I've got history turned on at the moment, so I've just sent a message to Ben as a standard chat. Okay, if I wanted to create a group, what we've got here, as you can see, there's already the options here to star and turn off notifications and everything else. There's no obvious group. So what you would need to do is to come back to the top here, and you can start a group. So what I could do is start adding Ben in here. And I could also and it's not found him because he's not in our contacts at the minute. But you could create your own group really, really easily, add loads of different people to it, and then have it working as a group. The problem with a group is if someone leaves the group, they can't rejoin it without being invited again. Whereas with rooms, and if you use a room, then you can create a room and you can come back to it at any point. So I can create a short and sweet room, for example. There we go. And I'm going to, it might take Ben this time, it might not. Here we go.
External use.
See,
I've got an account in your domain, haven't I?
You have as well, yeah. But because this is within the domain, it's not letting me add in because that's my domain settings at the moment. However, if I tried to add myself,
so that's very dependent on obviously the domain settings. Obviously, if that's turned on for external use, obviously you can invite people from other places as well. Just to point out.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm then able to add myself, and I can add bots and things like that as well. So with the room, and that didn't save because I forgot to. That's a pain in the bottom. Do that again.
That's very polite of you, Darren.
Well, I do have moments where I'm polite.
Doesn't happen often, but
not very often, to be fair. And this is where I wish I'd chosen a much shorter
email.
Yeah. I'm going to add that in there. There we go. Allow people outside my organisation to join. I'm going to allow that. Let me see whether it now lets me add Ben. Okay. And I'm going to create it. Okay. So I'm now creating this room. And we've got short and sweet, and we can add more people as well. And we can start threads, which a lot of people at the moment aren't particularly liking in terms of threads, because it can get a little bit confusing. But what you'll notice is the room now appears here. Okay, so I can click on that room at any point, and I can do that from back in Gmail now. So if I go back to Gmail, we can see under rooms, I've now got short and sweet, and under training, I've now got Ben. Actually, let's just change the theme on there for a minute. Just go back to normal. There we go, just so we can see a little bit better. So there's my chat with Ben that I set up. I didn't set up a group in the end, but here's my room. I can pop that out if I want and open it as a pop-up. But I've got behind my traffic lights the options to turn off notifications if it's going mental, which they can do.
Yeah.
But when you leave a room, you have got the option to return at any time. So it still stays there. You're just not in it, but you can walk back in at any particular time. Whereas if it's a group, you have to be invited back in. And I think this is particularly useful for work purposes because you could set up, for example, an open evening organizational room that you only use once a year, and you can all be in it for September and October, and then you can all leave it and not worry about it and come back in again the following year without anyone having to go and add people and do all those kind of things. So it's really useful, I think, to be able to just leave a room whenever you want and come back in again when it suits you and when it's convenient for you. Okay?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to show that. And then the final thing I wanted to look at was collaborative inboxes. And that's something kind of similar to the delegated access, but works through Google Groups rather than through through Gmail. So I'm going to go down to Google Groups here. And I'm just going to open up Google Groups. How's your favourite buses coming along, by the way, Ben? All right.
Yeah, good. It's had a good clean recently, I tell you. Been working really hard on that. But
fantastic. So you can see on this account, I don't have any groups at the moment. If I click create a group, I can give the group a name. I know, something original like short and sweet, maybe. Okay. Group description might be the YouTube group, for example. And if I click next, that address has already been taken because it's an email address. So let's try short and sweet show. because it has to have its own unique email address because you're going to send emails to it. Okay, so it can't be the same as an existing email address. So we set that up as next, and we can see here who can search for the group. You have a choice over anyone on the web or just your entire organization. Who can join, and you have options as whether it's people within your organization can join or have to ask to join, or whether anyone can join or has to ask to join. Okay, so you might set that as anyone can join. Anyone can ask and anyone on the web can find it. You can then decide on who can view conversations. Okay, so you might want it that anyone can view the conversations, but they can't respond and they can't post unless they're at a certain group level. So you could have it that only group members can post, which is how this is at the minute, but anyone on the web can view the conversations that are going on. And you could have it that only group managers, for example, can view members. So from a data protection purpose, you're not showing other people's email addresses and things like that. So then I can click next. I can add groups in here. Okay, so I'm going to add myself in, obviously. There we go. There we go. I'm also going to add myself in as a group manager because I want to make sure that I've got control over it if I need to. We can have a welcome message. Oh, that didn't work. That's fine. I can add that afterwards. You can add a specific group manager. I don't think that's going to let me. Let's just drop it down and do it there instead. Forgot about that bit. You can't put it in twice. Training demo. Training. There we go. So I can add myself in as a group manager. I can put a welcome message in. We can have subscription for me as either I get every single email, I get like a digest of what's going on, I get an abridged version at the end of the day, or I get none. Now, because this is like, in this case, this is my own personal email address, I would want an abridged version probably, so I get a daily update of what's going on. Okay, you can directly add members to the group, and I can click now create group. And it just takes a few seconds. There we go. So I'm going to go to the group now. So we've now got a group. Okay, but I can come down here to group settings. If I click it, it helps. And you can see I've got the option here to make it a collaborative inbox. Okay, so if I click on that, and it's not going to let me for some reason.
Strange.
Oh, it's not. Oh, it's not on the new group yet. Because it's on the new groups.
Is it new groups?
Yeah.
So it hasn't migrated across.
No, I think that's why. Here we go. So if you want to do collaborative inbox at the moment, you have to use the old groups, which is really annoying. But basically, collaborative inbox enables several people to be able to access the group emails, but you can then assign different emails to different members. So if you've got group organizers, group managers, you can assign the emails as they come in to individual people. Or if you go in and you check them, you can actually say, no, I'm going to take that one and I'm going to deal with it. So if you're in like an office situation where you've got 5 or 6 people in a team, or you're running a help desk and you've got 4 or 5 people helping you out, actually you can use a collaborative inbox to show who's dealing with what email or what issue as it's come into the inbox or the help desk. But you do have to go and use the old groups to do that, unfortunately, which I didn't realise hadn't carried over yet. So slightly annoying, but really easy to set up. And I can probably, let me just bear with me a sec. If I go into my other account, I might be able to show you what one looks like anyway. Just bear with me a sec.
There's so many bookmarks there. Wow.
Yeah. So I won't go into too much detail with this, but here we can see a Google group. Oh, and this one's ticked over as well. This originally was on the old Google groups, and you could work it as a collaborative inbox, but it's on its way. But it was a brilliant feature of the old Google groups. is on its way to new Google Groups, and very, very worthwhile looking at if you're dealing with, like I say, teams of people where you might have, it comes into one central email, or you want it to come to one central email, and then maybe the office manager distributes those tasks around to different members, or, the IT manager distributes those tasks around. So a really useful way of dealing with things. Okay. But obviously not quite live just yet.
No, it just goes to show that we're all we're still learning as we go through as well. Isn't it? So it's backing up that point of being lifelong learners. We're showing you guys that things go wrong. It happens. We learn these things as we go through. So, it just shows Google on the way up there, upgrading, updating, doing all this magic behind the scenes all of the time. So, when we test things a week ago, for example, they may have been working, and now they don't because they've updated it. It's just the way it is. But hope we'll stay tuned and see that go live. I'll be excited for when that comes to new groups, because I don't know about you, Darren. I love the new groups compared to the old one. It's so much nicer to see.
Much better.
It sort of matches the rest of the Google interface now, doesn't it? It was always the outdated one, wasn't it, of everything, and now it's sort of tied in really nicely.
Yeah, there's a couple that are still on a little bit of legacy. Obviously, Google Sites, you've still got classic sites in existence, which looks awful now when you look back at it. But obviously, it's still there because people have got them up and running. The other good thing, as a couple of people have said in the chat, is that with the Google Groups, they're great for mailing lists. We use the GG UK. I send out calendar invites for people using the GG UK group. And that's how people know what's going on. And that means I've just got to send one email. It's GDPR compliant because nobody's seeing each other's email addresses, and it's just going straight in, and it's nice and quick and simple, and it's dead easy for us to do. So really worth bearing those in mind, and it saves you creating loads of emails. Yeah, and
it works. I mean, for groups, we use it at work, don't we? For all staff emails. If something go to all staff. The person sends out an email, types in all staff at the academy name, and then it sends to every member of staff. They're all group members of that group. So, in terms of saving time and being efficient, it's nothing scores better than it, I don't think, really.
No. And another thing with that is I also use the groups, the all staff groups that we have at work. I use those to share the staff website with. Because you have to be a member of the all staff email to be able to access the website, because it's only published to that group. So if you're not in the all staff email, there's no way you can access any of that staff area, which means you've got, if you like, a walled garden that only staff can access, and it's nice and secure. Okay?
That's it, 100%. Well, thanks so much for going through that with us there, Darren. That's definitely opened my eyes up a little bit for the that collaborative inbox at the end. I just hope it comes to new groups very soon. I really want to use that.
Keep our eyes open. Definitely keep our eyes open on that one, because it'll be really useful, particularly like for us with GG UK. All of us will be able to say, actually, I'm going to deal with this, and you deal with that one, and it will make organisation a whole lot easier as well.
Definitely.
So do give groups a look, because they are, people are a little bit scared of them to start off with, but they are actually incredibly simple to work with. So
maybe in the future, once that feature has pulled through, potentially, because Google Groups is a tool that everyone's quite worried about and scared about. Maybe we could do a session on Google Groups, because it's a really powerful tool that I think is definitely underrated. I always used to avoid it at all costs, but now I've got my own domain and playing about with it myself. It's not as bad as you think, and actually it's really intuitive. It's really useful for a lot of things. So. If you haven't had a look at it already, do have a little bit of a read up, see how it can be used in your organisations.
Absolutely. I don't think we've got any particular questions or anything like that in the chat. I do just want to remind people that on Tuesday, Google for Education are running their Anywhere School, which is a global event going all around the world, starting on the 11th, finishing up in Europe on the 12th. So GGK, we are holding a pre-party just for about half an hour, a bit of a mixer beforehand, and to get ourselves ready for things like the Twitter chat, all that kind of stuff. But do sign up for the Anywhere School, and the link there, the bit.ly link, is for just signing up to join us for the pre-link. We'll have a bit of fun with that, and play a couple of silly games to get to know each other and things like that. So bear that in mind for next week. And then next week, short and sweet. I haven't even mentioned this to you yet, Ben. But off the back of a nice and slow session I did, I thought it might be quite nice to see what people in the chat think, to look at doing a session on giving personalised feedback to students using things like screen recorders. And then the following week, on the 20th, we've got Will Jackson from Moat joining us as well to look at his feedback. Okay? So that's probably what's coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so keep posted, guys. Look on all our stuff on social media. We're posting quite a lot about our sessions. So if there's anyone that might find them useful, do tag them. Do let them know that we're here on the weekly basis, showing you guys how to do these things. But just from me, thanks so much for joining and being part of us again this evening. And I don't think there's any particular questions in the chat. But if you have any burning questions, do feel free to reach out to us on Twitter. Our handles are on the screen. Do reach out and ask us a question. We'll be more than happy to do our best to answer them.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, stay safe. See you later on. Take care.
Take care.